get started. So my name is Lori Peak, and I serve as the director of the Natural Hazard Center. And our team here at the University of Colorado Boulder is joining you this morning from land which sits upon the territories of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho people. This is a fact that we acknowledge and respect. And it is our honor to welcome you to your 47th annual Natural Hazards Research and Applications Workshop. Nearly 1/4 of you this year are first-time attendees at this workshop. And as you are going to hear more about this morning and throughout the days to follow, there are many long-standing traditions that are associated with this particular meeting, including, for example, that all sessions start as well as end on time. We are an acronym-free zone, which means that we are committed to saying the words rather than just the letters. We try to minimize the use of rank and titles and instead focus on what people do and what people know and who people are. We strive to have a diverse mix of people on the panels as well as in the audience from different disciplines, organizations, social and cultural backgrounds, and geographies. We connect these people through Monday morning self-introductions as well as a variety of networking events. And each of these traditions have grown out of a core set of values and a deep commitment that honors the rigorous exchange of ideas, which this workshop has been committed to for 47 years now. Respect for people and their knowledge, expertise, and diversity of lived experiences, and a recognition of the many differences between us, but also always remembering the ties that bind us together. That is who we are, that is what we do, and that is what this workshop is all about. So to the first timers out there, please know that when I say welcome to your 47th annual Natural Hazards Research and Applications Workshop, I mean that. And while the Natural Hazard Center has had the honor and privilege of organizing this meeting for 47 years, this meeting is what it is because of the people who attend it, the sense of purpose that you bring to it, and the work that you do and the work that you're getting ready to share. And finally, the presence of spirit and mind that you bring to each and every session and interchange. So welcome to the first timers, to the longtime attendees, and to the familiar faces that are filling my heart to see you on this screen. I just want to say welcome home. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being the walls that hold this home upright. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment so that I can provide some updates and move through a few logistical items to help us to get ready for the days that are to come. But first, I think it is important in honoring our long-standing commitment to connecting people and knowing who is in the room to do a little of just that. So I'd like to ask now if everyone who has cameras on, if you would actually please turn those cameras off right now. And I'm going to leave my camera on just so I can see what's going on. But thank you for turning your cameras off. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask a question of the audience. And so if you have your camera on right now, if you would please turn it off. And I'm going to ask a question of the audience. And if you fall into the category, or if your answer to the question would be yes, then please flip your camera on. And so first, if you are a first timer at the Natural Hazards Workshop, will you please turn your camera on? Welcome to the first timers. If you're a long timer at this workshop and you have a word of advice or welcome for these first timers, please drop that in the chat right now. What is it that you want to say or share with first timers at the Hazards Workshop? Let's use the chat for that for a moment. Have fun indeed. Welcome to all of the first timers. Speak up, speak out, and enjoy. Well said, Maureen Fordham. Make as many contacts in the community as you can. Network, network, network. Dave Ramsey, who sometimes calls himself a rock guy, just said to talk to everyone. Thanks to the geologists in the room who remind us of those important connections. Okay, thank you, first timers. Please turn your cameras off. If you are a participant from outside of the US or its territories, so what we would call an international participant sometimes at this meeting, will you please turn your camera on? So welcome to our international participants, whatever time in the world it is where you are. Thank you for joining with us this morning. You can turn your cameras off. This year, in recognition of the ongoing need to be online, given the ongoing pandemic, but also our strong desire to be together, we offered a group registration rate for the first time. And so if you are joining us as a group and are in a room together with a group, will you please turn your camera on right now? Oh, and hi, Michelle Meyer and Texas A&M University. Thank you for being with us, and sorry that your camera does not work. And thank you to the group registrants. Okay, if you were a student, cameras on, please. Oh, welcome to all of our students out there. About 1/5 of our registrants this year are students. And so this is a space where we're going to have opportunities tomorrow to both share job opportunities, job openings, and also to share with job seekers. And so welcome to the students who are out there. You can turn off your cameras now. If you are a Bill Anderson Fund Fellow or alumni, will you please turn on your camera now? Welcome to the Bill Anderson Fund Fellows and Alums. If you do not know about the Bill Anderson Fund, also sometimes known by the acronym BAF, don't worry, we're going to hear from two of the Bill Anderson Fund leaders very shortly. BAF students and alums, you can turn your cameras off now. Welcome. If you have attended 10 or more natural hazards workshops, so 10 or more, virtual or in person in Colorado, will you please turn your cameras on? Oh my goodness. Good morning. Kathleen Tierney, Jessica Goddard, Jim Kendra, Courtney Welton Mitchell, Jay Wilson from Oregon, Clark Chapman, Jolie Breeden. Welcome to Norma Anderson, Jennifer Tobin, and Nadia Campbell. These folks, oh, camera doesn't work. Joanne McGlown is also here and has definitely been to 10 or more workshops. To those folks, who you're seeing right now on the screen, collectively, they have decades of knowledge, wisdom, experience. Connect with them, learn from them, give them a hug when you can. These are some extraordinary people. Thank you, and you can turn your cameras off now. If your name is Lindsay Highland or Lan Nguyen, will you please turn your cameras on right now? So Lindsay, welcome. And I think Lan is joining us from San Diego. I'm not seeing Lan's camera right now, but I do see you, Lindsay. And so I've asked Lindsay and Lan to turn their cameras on because Lindsay was the first person to register from outside of the United States. And we always recognize our first international registrant. And so Lindsay, welcome to you. We have some goodies here that we're going to be sending you: a t-shirt with Gilbert's face on it, some research counts books. We'll be sending you some mugs to have some early morning coffee. And so Lindsay, welcome to you. And I'm so glad you registered. And I see Lan is logging on right now. Lan is actually a graduate student in Colorado and is in California and is on the job market. And so welcome to Lan. And Lan was the first person in the US to register. So thank you to Lindsay and Lan. Two more important cameras on groups, and then we're going to move forward. If you are a student volunteer at this natural hazards workshop, will you please turn your camera on? Thank you, Mufti. Hi, Haley. And if you're a student volunteer coordinator, so that would also be Jocelyn and Melissa. Good morning, Leah. Good morning, Carlos. Good morning, Allison. Hi, Jocelyn and Melissa. Thank you for your incredible leadership with organizing the student volunteers. So to everyone who is out there, these student volunteers, they are extraordinary. They applied to have this position at the annual workshop so that they could be available to support all of us to make sure that your natural hazards workshop is a success. And so you'll see the student volunteers in each of the sessions. At the beginning, they're going to help welcome you, help orient you to the platform. They're going to answer the questions that you have. And if they can't answer them, they're going to help to get you to the people who can answer them. If we could ask Jocelyn and Melissa, after we turn these cameras off, to drop in the chat the link to the list of all of the student volunteers and their bios. We have student volunteers from all around the world who are joining us, and they are truly extraordinary people, next generation leaders in this field. And so we hope that in addition to thanking them for the effort that they're going to put into making your session a success, that you will also get to know them, because before we know it, they are going to be the ones who are running the meetings that we're in, setting the vision, and doing, continuing to do the amazing work that they do. So thank you to the student volunteers, and thanks to the gratitude that's coming in the chat. And then last but not least, if the student volunteers could turn their cameras off, and if the Natural Hazards Center team, if you could all please turn your cameras on right now. So to the 200 some people who are logged into this session right now, the people that you're seeing on this screen right now are the people that for nearly a year have been working on this meeting to make this meeting possible. And at this moment of welcome and introductions, but also of gratitude, I wanted to offer my gratitude to this Natural Hazards Center team, and a special thanks to Jennifer, to Katie, to Jolie, to Jeffrey, to Jason, to Robin, and to Megan, who are the core team who really have been working on this for over a year, as well as to the entire Natural Hazards team. Every single one of them have a role to make this workshop run. Could we please take to the chat for a minute and unleash a torrent of gratitude into the chat for the Natural Hazards Center team and the work that they do? Thank you to each of you. It is so good to see you all this morning, from our undergraduate students to our senior staff who have been with us many years. Thank you, and thanks to all of you who are taking to the chat to fill it with words of thanks for these extraordinary people. So thank you. And as we are filling up that chat box with gratitude, I'm going to now say you're welcome to keep your cameras on or to turn your cameras off to everybody, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for just a few moments so we can go through some of the logistics associated with the meeting today. And so Jen, would you please confirm, are you seeing the main screen of my slides right now?
Looks good.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer Tobin, and thank you for all that you are. Okay, so everyone, welcome. And a few things that I want to share with you, as I always do on this opening morning. First and foremost, I want to share where we're at with workshop registration numbers. And so between our individual registrants and our group registrants, as of very late last night, we were at 634 workshop registrants. And we know those numbers are going to continue to grow as we get some more numbers flowing in terms of the number of groups that are participating together. And so with that, we think that this is going to be the third largest workshop in our center's history, only followed by the 2020 workshop and the 2021 workshop. And so while I really want to say and acknowledge at the outset that this was a really hard decision to decide to go back online this year, we had to make this decision, and as with all major decisions, we made this decision as a team, and we had to make this decision in January, really at the height of Omicron. And given that we have an incredibly mighty, but also a small team that organizes the staff, and for a variety of other reasons, we in the end needed to make the call, even though we were really hoping to be back in person this summer, we needed to make the call to go back online. And that was a hard call to make because we are, I'm going to use this word, desperate to see all of you, to bring you back to Colorado, to be in the room together. But we also want to say how thankful we are for this year, as well as for the prior 2 years, that thanks to technology, thanks to your willingness to show up and to contribute and to be fully present, we've been able to continue uninterrupted with our 47 years of natural hazards workshops. And as we've seen, even though we have missed being able to be together, it's actually allowed for larger numbers of you to gather together. And so the 634 who have signed up so far, and to the others who may join us, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being in this virtual room and for committing to the workshop this week. In addition to the workshop participants, we also have 272 people from around the world who have registered for the researchers meeting that immediately follows the close of the workshop. And we are so pleased that again this year, the National Hazards Mitigation Association has revived their add-on practitioners meeting, which will be on the Thursday following the Natural Hazards Workshop. And as of yesterday, they had 101 people registered for that meeting. So we're really excited about the main event and also the researchers meeting and practitioners meeting to follow. We also wanted to say that thanks to our longstanding partnerships with the wonderful friends at the Association for State Floodplain Managers, we're able to offer 12 pre-approved continuing education credits for those who are seeking CECs through the ASFPM, and also through a partnership with the International Association for Emergency Managers, we can offer 21.75 contact hours toward those who are seeking their certified or associate emergency manager contact hours. And so if you have questions about that, please go to the Natural Hazard Center website, to the workshop pages, and you can learn more there. If you are interested, in addition to the continuing education credits, if your interest was piqued in what are these researchers meeting or practitioners meeting that follows the Natural Hazards Workshop, there's still time to sign up. There's still space in both of these meetings. And so again, please visit the Hazards website to learn more about both of those meetings. The practitioners meeting is organized around the theme of engaging low capacity communities with practical and equitable risk reduction and resilient solutions and support, while the researchers meeting is going to focus on the theme of back to the field, hazards and disaster research following the pandemic. And also will include many, many papers that move beyond that theme. And so we hope you'll join us for those add-on meetings if your schedule permits. We also want to encourage everyone. The month of July is not only the month of the Natural Hazards Workshop, it is also the month when we can participate in the Bill Anderson Fund Disaster Dash. And at this moment, I'm going to pause sharing my screen because I'm going to invite the two leaders of the Bill Anderson Fund, Norma Anderson, who is the founder and the leader of the BAF, as well as Nania Campbell, who is recently named the Deputy Director of the Bill Anderson Fund. Norma, Nania, will you tell us, what is the Bill Anderson Fund? What is this Disaster Dash? Who are these students and alums who we saw on the screen? And what is the BAF all about? Norma, over to you.
Well, thank you. And we are doing this together, Ninia and I, because as Deputy Director, she has done a fantastic job in leading the BAF. Let me say, first of all, that I have been to at least 40 of the hazards workshops. So before many of you were even born, not even thought of, I was attending the hazards workshop. It's a pleasure to be here. And again, focusing on Ninia's role. Many of you know that I have had major surgery in May. And so Ninia is with us 50% of her time and of her work time. And she has done a fantastic job, particularly since May, when I've had surgery, and she has been full throttle operating the BAF as I recover. So I'm going to step back because she has been the one that has been charging forward and doing so much in the last several months.
Well, thank you, Norma, and hello, everyone. Again, I'm Nania Campbell. I'm a founding fellow and now deputy director of the Bill Anderson Fund. So for those of you who are not familiar with the BAF, we are a nonprofit organization whose mission is to increase the number of historically underrepresented professionals in hazards and disaster research and practice. We also organize the Disaster Dash 5K. So that is a 5K fun run, walk, jog event that takes place annually in conjunction with this workshop. So this year is our 8th annual Disaster Dash, and I want to encourage all of you to participate. You can register. I'll put the link in the chat box for the registration page. But I also want to note that if there are those of you out there I know who want to support the Dash, but maybe running around and moving around isn't really your thing. So you can also find a link in this registration page to sponsor a participant in the Disaster Dash, one of our fellows or another team. And you can join us through the entire month of July, but Wednesday is officially the Disaster Dash day. So we hope to see you on Wednesday. And I'd also just like to invite you all to share your pictures with us on social media using the hashtag BAF Disaster Dash, especially those of you who've opted to include a furry friend in your registration this year. So thank you all for participating in the Dash. Thank you, Lori, for giving us a chance to tell everybody about what we do.
Norma and Nania, thank you both for the leadership with the Bill Anderson Fund. Thank you to the students and alums who are here. Thank you for inviting us to run, walk, crawl, whatever we need to do to dash with you. And thank you for the ways that the Bill Anderson Fund, in the short amount of time that this organization has been in existence, it is fundamentally transforming our hazards and disaster field through achieving the mission and vision for the BAF. And thank you for all that you do. And as a shout out, on Wednesday morning, one of our special plenary sessions is actually going to give us a chance to hear from 7 of the BAF students and alums, where they're going to be delivering lightning talks, where they're going to showcase public communication of their science. And so we hope you will join us for that on Wednesday. We hope you're going to dash with us. And Norma, 40 plus years, what a difference you have made in this field. And it is our honor to have you here with us this morning. And we are issuing a speedy recovery to you. And thank you to you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jessica Austin and Candace Evans, who are 2 of our esteemed graduate research assistants at the Natural Hazard Center. They're also doctoral students in sociology, and they also happen to lead the selection for this year's Natural Hazard Center undergraduate student and graduate student paper competitions. And so Jessica and Candace, can we turn the mic and the cameras over to you to announce this year's winners?
Good morning, everyone. As Lori mentioned, my name is Candace Evans.
Hey everyone, I'm Jessica Austin. Candace and I are graduate research assistants at the Natural Hazard Center, and we served as members of the 2022 Hazards and Disasters Student Paper Competition Review Committee.
The papers we receive are judged on contributions to knowledge in the field of hazards and disaster research. 1 undergraduate and 1 graduate student win this award annually.
The 2022 Graduate Award goes to Hannah O'Reilly for her paper, Messaging the Threat, Forecaster Difficulties, Prioritizing Compound Hazards During Hurricane Florence. Hannah is studying environmental and natural resources policy as part of the Masters of the Environment program at the University of Colorado Boulder. In addition, she currently works for the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences as part of a NOAA grant, where she is investigating the occurrence of overlapping hazards during hurricanes.
And the 2022 Undergraduate Award goes to Nathan Schunk for his paper, Information Flows Associated with the 2021 Inland Flooding in Western Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Nathan recently completed a BS in Quantitative Economics from East Carolina University, where he also acted as a research assistant for the Center for Natural Hazards Research on a NASA-funded grant.
Hannah and Nathan will both receive a cash award and a plaque. You can read the abstracts for both papers in your online program, and the full papers are available on the Natural Hazards Center website.
Please join us, especially in the chat, in congratulating this year's winners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica and Candace. Thank you for all your work, and thank you to the other Natural Hazard Center team members who reviewed the papers that we received, which were outstanding. But Hannah and Nathan, we're so pleased to recognize you this year. And Hannah, would you maybe like to take a minute or so to say a few more words about your paper and to introduce yourself to the audience?
Absolutely. So just so everyone knows, also, I will be presenting a poster on this paper this afternoon. And I would be happy to tell everybody more about it then and field any questions that you have. I just wanted to take a second to thank everyone at the Natural Hazards Center for choosing to honor my work. And what I'm sure was a highly competitive field. I'm so grateful to be receiving this award and happy to be here today. I would also like to thank Jennifer Henderson of Texas Tech University, who hired me to work on this grant and has been an incredible mentor to me throughout this entire process. So thank you, Jen. And then I also wanted to thank, there was a whole team of researchers who have been working on this project since 2019. And I really couldn't have done it without this team. So just thank you, everyone. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to get to know everyone and to be part of this community. So thank you.
Hannah, thank you. And I see that Jen Henderson is out there, and it was almost a year ago when she sent us an email and said, I'm looking for a graduate research assistant on this project. Can you share this with disaster grads and with your contacts? And so we pushed it out. And then a year later, look at this. So Jen Henderson, thank you for making this opportunity. Hannah, thank you for the fabulous paper you wrote. And I saw that one of the people who congratulated you in the chat was Louise Comfort, who happens to be one of the editors of the Natural Hazards Review. She's going to be available in the Meet the Editors event tonight. And so maybe if there's a chance to pop over from your amazing poster, maybe you could meet Louise and the other editors, because I think this paper is going to hopefully soon be submitted for publication. So congratulations, Hannah. And now Nathan, congratulations on your paper. Would you come off of mute and would you share whatever words you want to share with the audience about your paper and the process involved in writing it? Nathan.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you really quick to the Natural Hazards Center and to the committee that looked at my paper and decided that it was worth this award. I also wanted to say thank you to Doctors Megan Millay, Raymond Smith, and Jamie Cruz. They brought me on and hired me to be part of this NASA grant, where we're looking at the compound flooding that happened in Europe this summer and affected Germany and the Netherlands and Belgium. And so without them believing in me and supporting me, I wouldn't have been able to do the research that this grant required and write this paper. And I guess I'm really incredibly humbled by this. I didn't expect to get this award at all. I'd also lastly like to really express my immense gratitude at being able to be part of this workshop and be included in a community that, help local communities as well as has a global impact. So thank you.
Nathan, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind sharing, we know you just graduated. What is next for you?
Well, I just graduated with a BS in quantitative economics from East Carolina University, and I was in an accelerated program there. So now I have 1 year left on a master's in quantitative economics and econometrics. And after that, I plan on going into a PhD program specifically focused on environmental factors affecting health economics.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and Hannah, congratulations again. And now I'm going to note two things about two awards and then announce another award. So as many of you long-timers know, we also offer the Mary Fran Myers Scholarship, which provides travel funds for persons who otherwise would not be able to attend the Natural Hazards Workshop. And we have issued the Mary Fran Myers Scholarship the last 2 years when we were online. And this year we decided to pause the Mary Fran Myers Scholarship as well as the Disability and Disasters Award, which is also a travel scholarship, to bring someone who does work on disability and disasters. And I know there are several of you out there because of reading the poster session abstracts. And so please know we paused those two awards this year in anticipation of being back in person next year when those travel funds are really going to be needed. And so we can bring our 2020 and 2021 recipients of those awards. So I just wanted to say that. And then I wanted to also announce this year's Mary Fran Myers Gender and Disaster Award. For those of you who didn't have the honor and opportunity to know Mary Fran Myers, for many years she worked here at the Natural Hazard Center, and she served as the co-director before her untimely death. And Mary Fran was known for many things, including her deep and abiding commitment to connecting researchers and practitioners, and this meeting being the primary vehicle through which we were able to drive that vision. Mary Fran was also known for her enduring commitment to gender equity, to advancing women's careers in emergency management and disaster research, and to trying to advance more gender equitable and inclusive practices. In 2002, we established the Mary Fran Myers Gender and Disaster Award in honor of Mary Fran's life and legacy, and in order to try to advance work that continues in that spirit. And this year, it is my profound honor on the 25th anniversary of the Gender and Disaster Network, which was formed here in 1997 in Boulder, Colorado at the Natural Hazards Workshop. It is my honor to announce that for the first time, rather than an individual, we are naming an organization as the recipient of this award. And so the Gender and Disaster Network is the recipient of the 2022 Gender and Disaster Award. And Maureen Fordham, one of the founding members of GDIN, is here with us. Maureen, do you want to take a minute to accept this award on behalf of the global network that is the Gender and Disaster Network? Maureen.
Thank you so much, Laurie, and to everyone. And thank you from over 1,200 Gender and Disaster Network members around the world. And I think it survived 25 years because there is still this continuing need to understand and address gender and disaster issues, but also because of the many network members who volunteered to respond to members' questions, to lead discussions, to help out on the website, take on communications, attend global policy meetings, all of that, all voluntary. But also I think because it continues through a collective, supportive, inclusive, and increasingly intersectional set of values. So thank you, Mary Fran, for enabling that first meeting. And if you want to hear more, then don't forget the Gender and Disaster Network at 25 later today, at 3:30 to 5 MDT, Mountain Daylight Time. And tomorrow, the Roundtable Social Hour on Gender and Disasters. That's going to be 5:30 to 6:30. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Maureen. And we're all looking forward to joining those convenings and to celebrating the Gender and Disaster Network while acknowledging how much work we have ahead of us, but also acknowledging how much has been accomplished in these 25 years. So thank you, Maureen, and thank you to all of the GEDN members who are out there today. So now we are going to take 2 minutes and we are going to engage in a grand experiment. And we are all disaster managers in some sort of way. So if this becomes a disaster, that's okay. We're going to give it a try. But here's what we're going to do for the first time. Over the last 2 years, when we have been online, we have missed having some version of our Monday morning self-introductions when everybody stands up and says their name. And we couldn't figure out how to do that in the virtual space. But what we are going to do this morning is Jennifer Tobin is getting ready to break you all into virtual rooms. We're going to have 50 virtual rooms. So given my amazing mathematical skills, that means there's going to be about 4 of you in each of these rooms that we're getting ready to break into. We're only going to be in there for 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back in here into this main room. But what we're going to do when we're in that room, we're going to say our name. We're going to say our affiliation, and we're going to say one word that captures how you are feeling this morning. So I might say, Lori Peak, Natural Hazard Center, University of Colorado Boulder, hopeful. And then we'll move throughout the room, and then you've got your 2 minutes, and any extra time you can use however you want, but we will bring you back here after 2 minutes. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Jen, if we're ready, will you go ahead and put everybody in their breakout rooms, and you will need to join a breakout room. So go ahead and do that, and we'll be back here at about 40 minutes after the hour once you get into your breakout room. So name, affiliation, one word that captures how you're feeling this morning, and let's meet somebody new. Thank you.
Okay, well, I am hitting open all rooms and it is just bouncing me back. So disaster has already started. Let's try this again.
Everybody, we were prepared for this, that if it didn't work. Okay, Jen, are you being bounced back again?
Yeah, it's just maybe it's 50 too many. Let's try to do less rooms and see maybe if 40 will work. Great. Okay, open all rooms.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Please join a room, everybody.
It should automatically send everybody to a room.
And Jen, it's so fun. I can see as the rooms are getting populated. Wonderful. And yeah, this is great. Okay, and it says to broadcast message to all, so I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Okay, name, affiliation.
I think it takes a little while to populate so many rooms.
Yeah. It looks great, though. It looks like there are about 6 people in each room, and some they have less, but that's great. And then Jen, when we hit close all rooms, it'll just automatically bring everyone back here.
Yes.
Perfect.
What time would you like me to do that? It's still like populating.
Yeah, let's how about at 8:41? Let's just bring everybody back.
It's 8:41 right now.
Oh, it just changed. Okay, let's give it just like 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Thank you. Jen, as it's moving, is that meaning that it's automatically populating people?
Yeah.
Oh, it shows a blank screen. Sorry, Louise. It may just be that nobody's in the room with you, but we'll bring everybody back now, I think. So
Okay.
let's do that. Okay.
They still have 60 seconds to return.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, everybody, and as you're coming back in, if you got to meet at least one new person, can you use the reaction button in Zoom and put a heart on your screen if you got to meet one new person? Oh, hi, Mike Grimm. All right, got to meet somebody new. Hi, Jen. Hi, Natasha. Good to see you. So, oh, hi, Francis. Okay, mission accomplished. We got to meet some new people. We'll continue to work on these breakout rooms, but this is a way of letting you all know that this feature is available for the sessions that are to come. And so everybody, thank you for engaging in that grand experiment. And with our remaining 3 minutes, 2 last requests and a few words. So this year's workshop, as you all know, is dedicated to the theme of changing climates, equity, and adaptation in a warming world. And this theme, in many ways, was driven by all of you. Over the past couple of years, as we've read through the evaluations and feedback from past workshops, many of you have written about the pressing urgency that you feel around climate change, the desire that you have to have more conversations and more linkages at this meeting between our traditional hazards and disaster community and between the climate change community, where sometimes we are running in parallel, sometimes intersecting, and sometimes not. We've also read the increasing urgency in your comments, your messages to me and otherwise about the dire situation that is unfolding in front of us in terms of not just the changing climates that we're facing, but the rising inequalities, the mounting disaster losses, the cascading, the compounding disasters that are affecting so many communities across our nation and around our world. This year's theme is meant to capture what actions are taking place in order to advance more equitable visions and actions when it comes to climate change mitigation and adaptation. And so our plenary sessions and our keynotes will be focused on this theme. And so in closing today with this opening session, we actually have a request of all of you throughout the day. The wonderful Elise Birnbach and the incredibly talented Elise Birnbach is back with us this year. She's going to be graphic recording our plenary sessions and our keynote this year, and she's also going to be creating a community mural. And so what we would like to ask is throughout the day that you all take to this form, which we'll be sharing in the chat all throughout the day, hazards.colorado.edu/form 22. And that you share what do you see as the top priority, the next big action that we need to take to respond to accelerating climate change and rising inequality and vulnerability that are driving disaster-related losses. And so please take to that form during your breaks throughout the day. And then please have a great break right now and come back, join us at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time to hear the person who is known as the father of environmental justice, pioneer scholar and activist, Dr. Robert Bullard. With that, it is 8:45 a.m. and I am going to call this session to a close with gratitude for all of you. Thank you for being at your 47th annual Natural Hazards Workshop. It is an honor and a gift and a delight to see you. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful break and we'll see you at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Thank you.